Let's speak to Mehmet Ogutcu, who's the chairman of the London Energy Club and joins us now from the UK. Mehmet, welcome to the programme. I'm just looking at your organisation's website, and it says you're an exclusive members-only gathering of government and corporate leaders from energy, investment and geopolitics. In a way, you're kind of a mini United Nations. What's happening in Ukraine is really bad news for anybody who's a member of your club.
It is a bad news, actually, in many ways. But I think one thing I have to tell you right away is that the international response to invasion of Ukraine by Russia has been very weak for the past few days, week. But now what we see, the news coming from the European Union in terms of financing arms to Ukraine and aircraft bans and also accepting refugees and whatever you have, then United Nations, although it's a paper tiger, still it has a moral significance. And especially Germany and Hungary, they were so unwilling to put any harsh measures against Russia. They are coming along as well. The only missing pieces in this puzzle are India and China. China is critically important because Russia thinks that there is a marriage of convenience between the two. And if there are difficulties on the Western side, China might step in to help Russia. I don't think that they should be so sure about it, because China will also consider its own position in the international community. I think where we are leading is sort of escalation. I mean, Putin is talking about high alertness of his nuclear forces. And I don't think this is warranted in the current crisis. Russia is the aggressor, using all the conventional weapons. But now Western sanctions will be biting very hard, not only the Russian military and government, but also the people. So while dealing with international sanctions and pressures, they have to deal domestically as well with their own population. So this might lead to a situation in which either Putin will have the upper hand, occupying the whole Ukraine, which they couldn't do in 4 days, and also remove Zelensky from power, or it will lean in the medium term a Russia without Putin, because the stakes are very high now. He immediately upgraded his threat from conventional weaponry and invasion to nuclear deterrence. This is a very serious matter, even if it's a rhetorical threat. And energy-wise, I think we are in a dire situation, because we depend heavily on Russia for natural gas, oil, coal, LNG to a certain extent. But they also need, this is a mutual dependence, they also need all the income they can get from fossil fuel exports. So I think the days coming, we will be discussing this more and more. I think the good news is now we can say that the Western sanctions and measures standing behind Ukraine and against Russia are becoming more serious, short of a nuclear threat, because, I mean, Biden said that, what else can we do? Either we will get engaged in a nuclear warfare, which is out of questions from the Western point of view, or we will only use the energy, financial, and economic sanctions. SWIFT mechanism, which Russia is part of it, if now certain banks, Russian banks, have been cut off from that, but if it will be a wholesale operation, I think Russia will not be able to stand all this pressure. That's the reason why I think Putin is pushing forward a meeting with Zelensky in Belarus. I don't think it's going to be between the heads of states. The delegations will be talking to each other. And Zelensky already dismissed that nothing would come out of it. And I believe that Russia will feel either they have to push very hard to occupy Ukraine altogether. Amazingly, they couldn't do anything serious in 4 days, using only conventional weapons, because Russia said they have very sophisticated weaponry that we haven't seen so far. Therefore, we have to see that the next 2-3 days will be very critical in terms of what Putin will do.
Yeah, okay. Mehmet, I'm really sorry. Obviously, with the UN Security Council, that took up some of our time. So we're going to have to leave it there. But, you know, it's always a pleasure to have you on and hear your analysis. Mehmet Ogutcu in London.